Beruchim haboim. Welcome everyone. We're about to begin Be'ezras Hashem together on Daf Kuftes Amud Beis, 2 lines from the bottom. Our Mishnah taught us that in regards to refuah on Shabbos, there are certain things a person can drink or eat because healthy people also eat and drink those things. So therefore, even a person who is ill can eat or drink those things. One of those things that a person can indeed drink is something called aboivroye. The Mishnah says that a person can drink that because, again, healthy people drink that. The Gemara says, why does a person drink that? Because, indeed, when he is sick, he's able to get rid of the concern that maybe mayim geluyim, water that was revealed, and maybe had venom that was put into it by a snake, that would heal such an ailment. And therefore, the Gemara, after that, spoke about a scenario, even when a person, Chalila, swallowed a snake. There, the Gemara said a person should take salted hops and eat them, and then he should run 3 meals. The Gemara now discusses the other cases when a person is involved with a snake. What are the remedies? Says the Gemara, Hayman de Tarki chivya. If a person gets a snake bite, Lesin ubro de chamora chivarta. He should then they should attain a ubar from a white donkey, velikre velusbe ilave. He should then tear it open and he should then sit upon it. V'hanimi delo ishtakach treifa. That's so long as this white donkey was not found to be a treifa. Otherwise, it's not going to be an effective remedy. Says the Gemara, Ahu bar kasha de pumpedisa, on top of Kuf Yud Amud Aleph. There was a Jewish officer from the king who lived in Pumbedisa, the Tarke Chivya Hava, who got a snake bite. Tleisa Chamre Chivarto bepumpedisa. There were 13 different white donkeys in Pumbedisa. Lavdafka 13, but it means to say there was a lot of white donkeys. Karinhu lekulu v'ishtakchu treifa. They opened up all of them to get the uber out, and they noticed that each and every one of them was a treifa, and therefore wasn't going to be an effective remedy. Havechado be'ahu giso de Pumbedisa. There was another white donkey on the other side of Pumbedisa. Adaozli maisi loy. When they would try to then bring it, before it even got to them, achla arye, a lion ate it up. Omar luhu Abaye. Abaye said to them, Dilma chivya de rabbonan tarke de lesle isusa. Maybe indeed this was a snake bite from the rabbonon, and therefore is not something that can be healed. The Chsiv, it says in the pasuk, uporetz geder yishchenu nachash. The pasuk says that one who is poretz a geder, he breaks down the fence that the chachamim had made, and he's mezalzil in those gezeros, then yishchenu nachash, he'll be bit by a snake and he won't be able to be healed. Omrulei, they said back to Abaye in Rebbe, yes, that's correct. And then they related the following episode. Tichinoch nafshei de Rav, when Rav passed away, Goza Rav Yitzchak bar Bisna de leke leminte aso v'gidmi lebei hilula betavlo. Rav Yitzchak bar Bisna then instituted a certain gezerah to mimayit the simcha, that although it was accustomed to then bring different branches of the willow, of the myrtle, sorry, not the willow, but the myrtle, the hadas, as well as the palm branches, together with small bells, and make music to accompany the chassan and kala misameach them. He made a gzeira that the first year now after the death of Rav, that shall not be done. Va'ozil ihu, and this Jewish officer, he came, amti asa v'gidmi lebehilula betavla, and he indeed showed up with these branches of myrtle and palms to the chasana with little bells. In other words, he didn't follow the gezerah. Tarke chivya umais, and a snake bit him and he died. Says the Gemara, weiter, Hayman de karche chivya, if a person has a snake that's wrapped around him, lin chois lemaya, let him enter and go down into the water. Velis choif dikula aresha, and then he should then take a basket and turn it over. Ulahadke mine, and then keep it, lower it slowly between him and where the snake is, so that the snake will then go onto the basket. V'chisolik ilave lishte lemayo v'lisluk v'lesi. When the snake then goes onto the basket, he should throw it into the water and he should run out of the water away from the snake. Says the Gemara, "Vayter hayman de mikani be chivya." If there's a snake that is angry and wants to then pursue somebody, if he has a friend that's together with him, lirkave arba garmide, he should then piggyback on his back so that he's not having his feet on the ground for dalid amos. In other words, the snake will then lose the scent of this person. The Eloi, and if he cannot do that, in other words, he doesn't have a friend together with him or cannot hold him, lishvar nigro, then he should then he should jump over or step over a trench of water. The Elo, if this is not possible, it's not there, then the aver nihara, then he should cross a river. Ubelelia lusbe lepuria arba chavisa. Even after this, let's say he was able to cross a river, or he was able to then jump over this trench of water, or perhaps he was able to go on the back of his friend for Daled Amos. Nonetheless, at night, he should then sleep in a bed that has 4 legs on top of 4 different barrels of wine. Vinigni be kubi kuchvi velaisi dalid shunri velisrinhu ba'arbo kare de purya. Then, when he lies down in bed, he should do so in the outside, underneath the stars, so that he doesn't have a roof above his head that a snake can then come and then fall and pounce on him. And rather, he should be, therefore, lying in a bed that is on the open air, underneath the stars. And he should bring 4 different cats, tie them to the corners of each bed, of the leg of each bed. Velesi shachve velishte hasam. Then he should take twigs, and he should throw them around his bed. Because then if a snake were to come, he will make noise from the twigs, alerting the cats who will then eat up the snake. Says the Gemara weiter, Haiman de rohit abasre liharit be chalta. If a person has a snake that's pursuing him, he should run through the sand, because this snake is not able to then run quickly in the sand. He'll turn around and leave. There was a snake. If a snake saw a woman, and she's not sure if the snake then paid attention to her and had a desire for her or not. What should she do? Tishlach mane v'nashde kameh. She should throw her garments, her clothes, in front of the snake, and then determine imachrech behu daite ilavo. If the snake wraps itself around the clothes, it means that the snake has a desire for this woman. V'iloi, and if not, lo yahiv daite ilave. Then the snake does not have any desire for her. My takanta, what should one do? What is the remedy in a situation where the snake has a desire for such a woman? Then tishamesh kamei. Then she should have tashmish hamita with her husband in front of the snake, whereby the snake will then lose interest in her. As says the Gemara, there are the other ones that say koshekain, the exact opposite. On the contrary, the tokifle yitzrei, the snake will have more of a desire if he sees her in this act. Elo tishko memazia umetufro v'shadi bevetemo dishtona ano. Rather, she should take her hair, some of her hair and some of her nails, and throw it in front of the snake and declare that I am in a state of nida. I'm a state of menstrual cycle. And Rashi says that that's not her, she's talking to the snake, but rather she's making a lachash. And therefore that will then enable her to be saved from this snake. Says the Gemara weiter the following. There was a snake that entered a woman. What should she do? Lifsa velitvoya acharti chavisa. She should spread open her legs, and she should sit on two barrels, partially on one barrel and partially on another barrel. Velesi bisra shmona, and then one should bring fat meat. Velishti agumre, and then they should throw that meat onto burning fiery coals so that the meat will then become smoky and there'll be a very strong scent from it. Velaisi agona de tachli, and they should bring a agona, a bowl of a plant which is called cress. V'chamra richasna velusbi hasam, and bring good smelling wine and place it over there where she is sitting. V'letrikunhu bahadi hadodi, and then they should mix these things together. That means the cress as well as with the wine and the meat. V'linkut tzavsa biyada, and then she should take tongs in her hand. V'chi meirach reicha nafik, when the snake smells the aroma, he will then go out. V'asi v'lishkele v'likle benura, then she will grab the snake with the tongs and throw the snake into the fire. The Gemara says, if she does not do that, she does not kill the snake by burning him in the fire, then hadar ilava, then he will return to her. The Gemara now quotes the Mishnah as saying the following. The principle is that all those foods that a healthy person would eat, then even a sick person can eat that on Shabbos for refuah. Ask the Gemara, Kol ha'oichlin lisuyei mai, all of the foods, what does this come to include? Answers the Gemara, lisuyei tchol lishinayim v'karshinin lebnei me'ayim, to include spleen, which a person eats for his teeth, but it's not good for his intestines. And he eats karshinin, which is called a horse bean, which is good for the intestines, but it's not good for the teeth, for the gums. And therefore, a person might think, since these things have deleterious effects, it's considered to be then a person would not eat it, other than for refuah. Kamash Malan, a person, even his healthy, will eat some of these things for the benefit that it has, either the tchol for the shinayim or the karshinin for the bnei me'ayim. Ask the Gemara, Kol ha'mashkin lasuyei, all of the drinks that the Mishnah mentions, what does that come to include? Li'isui meitzlofin b'choymetz, that which the caper fruit, the water it was soaked together into water with vinegar. That itself is again something that usually a person uses in order, if he has a toothache, to alleviate the pain. And therefore one might think this is also considered to be prohibited on Shabbos because of refuah kamash malan. Healthy people also eat this and drink this. Amar le Ravina le Rava, Ravina says to Rava the following, Mahu, what would be the din lishtois mei raglayim b'Shabbos, to drink mei raglayim on Shabbos? Omar le Tanina, we taught in our Mishnah, Kol ha'mashkin ois shoise. The Mishnah had already taught all those things that a person would normally drink, he can drink on Shabbos, even if it's going to be for refuah purposes. Umeraglayim lo shosu inshi, and meraglayim, urine, is something that people do not drink, and therefore certainly would be prohibited on Shabbos. The Gemara now quotes the next part of the Mishnah, chutz mi mei dekolim. The fact that we said that a person can drink all types of drinks, it makes an exception. Mei dekolim. Mei dekolim, the Mishnah had said, is an exception because it's going to then bring a remedy for the roka, which is a jaundice. Says the Gemara, quoting a Brisa Tana, chut mei dekorim. Instead of the mei dekolim that we have stated in our Mishnah, the Brisa says slightly differently, mei dekorim. Mei dekolim in our Mishnah, that refers to then the waters that come from the palm trees. The Gemara will explain that. However, that which is in the Brisa, mei dekorim, comes from the lashon of piercing. Says the Gemara, man detana mei dekorim, the one who teaches the waters that pierce, shehem doikrim es hamor, they pierce the gallbladder where the infection, the disease of the jaundice is found. Uman da omer mei dekolim, the reason why it's called mei dekolim is because it goes out between two palm trees. This is water that emanates from these two palm trees. Mai made the kolim. What are the waters that we're referring to that emanate from between two palm trees? Says the Gemara, Amar Rabbi bar Bruna, Tarti taloi ika b'ma'arava. There are two palm trees that are found in Eretz Yisrael. V'nafke ina demaya mi beinayu. And there's a original water source that flows from between these two palm trees. Kaisa kama mirape. The first cup a person drinks, it causes his that which is in his bowels to soften up. Idach mishalshel. The second cup, it causes to have shilshul, a very strong shilshul. The idach in the third cup, ki hechid da'ayli hachi nafki. As clear as it then went in, that's as clear as the water then goes out because there's nothing left that was left in his bowels. Omar Ula said, Lididi shasi shichra de bavloi umali minayu. I drank the shichra of Bavel, the beer of Bavel, and that was the best of all, even better than what was just mentioned before. So long as it was not drunk for 40 days before, it's an effective type of potion. Rav Yosef said, Zeisoim hamitzri. This is referring to the mei dekarim that we said, the water that pierces. He says, this is the Zeisoim hamitzri. Tilsa Sa'ari explains what it's made up of. It's a third of barley. Tilsa kurtmi, a third of saffron. V'tilsa milcha, and a third of salt. Rav Papa said, Tilsa chiti. Instead of the barley, he changed it to wheat. V'tilsa kurtmi, and a third of saffron. V'tilsa milcha, and a third of salt. The simonach, and the Gemara now makes a simon who holds what? Sisani. That which says Sisani has two, a samich and a samich that has two sin sounds. And therefore, Rav Yosef, the samich, also said Sa'arim, and therefore he's the one who holds barley, whereas it was Rav Papa who says the third is wheat instead of barley. The Gemara goes on to say, V'shosi le'bein divcha le'tzarta, and one should drink this between Pesach and Atzeres, referring to Shavuos. The kamit merafi le, that when a person is constipated, it will then soften that which is inside of his bowels. Uderafi kamit le, and that which is too soft, then it will harden it.